Hi and welcome to this video on Titanfall 2. I'm going to be using Titanfall 2 to paint a better image of how my movement is going to work in my game and how the abilities are going to work in my game. After I'm done with that, I am going to talk more about the build system, even though I don't think there is a game that is going to really help show my build system. But I'm going to try my best to explain it, even though I personally think I suck at explaining things. First, most games have a walk and sprint. Because of how I'm wanting to make my game, specifically R.R.P. R.R.P. is going to be a very fast-paced movement shooter. So I am actually, because also of Shift, if you haven't watched my previous video on this, you should watch it. I forget exactly what the name is. It is R.R.P., I think, Gameplay Systems, something around that, where I talk about how different things are going to function, how exotics work, how my legendary, how my tier system works for weapons, but how the difference, how to put this, if you haven't watched it, it talks about how weapon systems works in my game and how the entire rarity system is going to not be usefulness where commons aren't used, where every weapon's going to be used. If you listen to that, it talks more about that and how general things like that functions. For my game, like I was talking about, I'm going to have sprint constantly. Sprint is going to be the basic movement. In my game, okay, because of the freedom, and okay, how to put this? I do understand if you have watched my videos, and a lot of people have yet. I have my highest viewed video is a Spider-Man movement tech. So I really don't think anyone's watching these fully, so no one really hears, but eventually people will. But the reason why I'm going to add, how to put this? I am going to add movement, a lot of like typical movement, like wall running, wall climbing, different things like that, but it's all going to be my own version. I am using these as examples. Please do not take it as I'm going to copy and paste. I hate copying and pasting anything, even what people say. I don't like copying what they say even. But going back to my explanations, the game is going to have wall running, but the big difference between my game and this game is I don't think I'm going to want this freedom of wall run, this distance, the speed you can get on, different things like that, unless you have the shift of skating. The shift of skating is going to be for the Titanfall players, and even then I think it's going to be more than this. How I'm going to make it more, I don't really know. I think I'm going to want more speed. And I know, okay, this is something I'm going to want to dabble in because of the amount of control this could give. In the wall running, I am going to want to try and have look input as well, where you can still move with your move joystick or WASD, but to have a little bit more control. I don't know how I'm going to want to implement it, but say you're wall running and need to go up. You could, I want to dabble in this, don't know if it's going to actually be in the game, but as you're wall running, you can look up or down to get that extra little height to get into a window to then fuck some people up, where you have more control over where you're going, where a wall isn't just a wall, it is a fully usable surface to your complete advantage. Where, like, for example, say there's a window up there, there's a typical door there, window up there, you have a wall that you can sprint up. You could run up the wall like Prince of Persia, get that height, jump, and then get into that window. However you see fit, because there's so many different ways that it's going to be possible. And with my movement abilities, okay, first, just about every ability is going to have some movement, because I'm going to play with abilities. Like, there's going to most likely be some form of teleportation, a typical dash, grapple hooks, like I've already talked about. Like, I'm going to have fun with the abilities, and if you haven't watched my previous video on my ability or on my game, I do highly suggest it, because I do talk more about how the abilities function as well. But the abilities are going to be very similar to this, but on a way faster cooldown, I think. Because I'm going to want them to be... I'm gonna want them to be your bread and butter, how you get around the place. And when you have your weapon out, I want it to be your main way of closing the distance, of doing something to get to a person to bitch smack them with your melee weapon. Also, if you have watched my previous video, please do not think that the melee weapons are going to be busted. They are going to do damage, but not like Destiny 2 super damage. They're going to be a primary weapon, though. First, every gun in my game is going to be a very useful gun. There's not going to, I do like the idea of having a gun that is literally just for fun, like the Mozambique was. I think it is decent in Apex, but a gun that is just for the fun of it. Like has no benefit, but like does like a firework launcher that literally shoots fireworks. It doesn't do damage, just pretty colors that you can like customize or something. Have ooh going down the idea of firework launcher, you could have the like a gray firework launcher. It's a gray firework launcher where you can use all the different mods on for gray weapons. But the mods like damage bonus, if they're ever, I don't think I'm gonna have damage bonus because that's kind of broken. But being able to dabble into that should be something more focused than just a mod because that gives you so much more bang for your buck, and that makes it where uh, valuing different weapons and changing different things like weapons means you always have to take consideration that one mod and even damage values, like how much damage you need to do to something to kill it, TTKs, all of that. I don't think I'm going to put anything in that is damage bonus because of how my mod and how my weapon systems are going to work. But with that said, I had a point. The firework launcher. If there's something to do with damage radius, something like that, it would change the explosion size. Better range. It takes longer to explode. Like you have to shoot it, and it takes a little bit longer to explode. So you can actually have different mechanics. And something I just thought of. It might not actually be useless to have a firework launcher because you could actually use that if it's like, say, a primary ammo weapon where it doesn't have a charge, you have infinite ammo for it. You could use that to blind people in PvP. Have the constant "you can't see me, bitch" wall spread, having multiple explosions, so you can just have a wall of "you can't see me, bitch," but you know exactly where I am within reason. Like if there's more range on your specific version, you would have farther distance from those explosions, so they have a less understanding of where you are. But that general idea, that actually sounds very fun. And things like that I am going to implement. And if you did notice, I did just think about that on the fly because that is how I'm making my game on the fly, different ideas that I'm wanting to implement. Because it is going to be my first game, but how the story works, it could have over the top, just fun weapons. But unlike Borderlands, it is going to have a reason behind it, where each thing you can explain in the story, in the world, and it's not just because, where it has science to it, so to speak. Um, Now, I'm actually going to talk about my build system a little bit. I haven't fully fleshed it out, but to actually customize your character to get different, like reload speed buffs, like a little bit of movement speed, maybe different dabbles like that, little things to help out your kit, help out your character, and that apply different status effects. Different status effects might help. Oh, yeah, I should actually talk about the element system. In my game, the elements are not. There is the typical earth, air, fire, water. But each element is not just. Like, earth is not just earth. That is the flow. I. Yeah, that works. I've been dabbling with what earth truly is, but I know the other ones. In my game, magic is everywhere. Everywhere you look, everywhere you do, even when you are alive. Magic is everywhere because it's the raw energy of everything. Just rapers and other things can use it better and can take that raw energy and do stuff with it. But the elements, earth, air, fire, water, are more than just that, like I said. Like fire, for example, that is not just heat, but it is also fire, like emotional fire, like love, anger, different things like that. And the friction, the heat of friction, and different things like that. It's heat. It is, in any sense of the word, heat. Water, on the flip, is any sense of the word cold, just about. It is cold, it is depression, it is sadness, it is cold. Wind is movement. That is movement, sound, different things like that. It is in everything you go, everywhere you look, because everything's in motion, everything moves. That is a movement. Earth, Earth I have no clue how I am going to, if you can actually dabble into this, because Earth, I do want to go with, unlike most things, Earth is Earth. It is the, not basis, but it is everywhere. Even in space, there is still Earth. It is not Earth like dirt, Earth as in the ground, the stuff. With that ground and stuff, or I don't want to go with like creation, but ground and stuff, it actually controls, like, don't haven't really thought of Earth, because Earth is one of those hard things to actually give a good thing for, like Earth, like fire, water, or air. Earth is hard. I wanted to go with the idea of time. That's what I was gonna say, where it controls the flow of time to an extent, and technically that does work, because mass equals gravity, and not exactly, but that actually, that I think is going to work. Don't know how exactly Earth is going to affect time in gameplay, like at all, because affecting time in a multiplayer game, unless it's like Tracer where you can rewind time where it doesn't actually affect time besides personal time, that might be something I do. And that there could actually be a lot of use for personal time mechanics. Ooh, that could actually have some fun with it. But with those elements, there's those four. There is more that I'm going to add, like uh, death. Death is not in my world, in my story world, or I don't even need to go down on it. I'm just talking about the gameplay. That is going to be more for when people start dabbling into the game and when I actually have things out that are covering the lore specifically. I should stop going into that. But the 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 build system is going to focus around specific slots. Unlike in Destiny, where there's like helmet, shoulder, different things like that, or it's going to actually be very similar to Destiny system, but not where your armor depends on it, where your armor has different things. It is head, shoulders, core, legs, or head, arms, core, legs, because each one is controlling your mana, doing different things like that. Like there is reason for the mods to be in these different spots. Uh, each one, like I said, is going to do different things. But, like, for example, arm mods, those are going to control weapon swap speed, reload speed, most likely, different things like that. Hell, even melee damage. And a lot of things that I haven't thought of yet because I haven't actually been dabbling in it. Once I can actually make my game, all of these things are going to be way more solid, and I'm going to have a lot more ideas because then I can actually make the idea and make a new one, make a new one, make a new one. I don't want to keep thinking about ideas when I don't have any ground to work off of. But that is what arms are going to do. Legs are going to do different things. I don't know exactly how legs are going to work because movement speed bonuses in a movement shooter is going to be like a must have, and I don't want must haves in my game. Any must have is not something fun. um, Core is going to function like resilience in Destiny, where you have more health, most likely, but that at a big downside, if you have more health and different things like that, because that does change TTK, there's going to be most likely a maximum, or most definitely a maximum, and going to have downsides possibly. Gonna dabble in it because TTKs and all of that. You want to have a fair gunfight with just about anything. I don't think I'm gonna want to do health or dabbling in health at all, even in PvP or PvE, because of that, where damage changes wildly, or how much damage you need to do changes wildly depending on their health. That sounds like something more for PvE than PvP. But the core is most definitely going to dabble into something. Don't know what, not really. Core or head, same thing. Don't really know because head I actually know one mod specifically, and I do think that this is going to be the only thing your head does because your head is you, your mind is you, you will control a brain suit. The mind mod, so I'm gonna have a special name for it, but mind mod is going to be your element, so to speak, or not so to speak. It is going to be your element, but not just your element, your general fighting style, your general play style. Like for example, there's going to be multiple cores or mods for fire, so to speak. Each, or not so to speak, for fire. For an example, each brain core or mind core, or whatever it's going to be, is going to change little things about how you play and dabble with fire. Uh, for an example, one mod could be doing consecutive damage with your rip weapon builds up like fire, where you can rev it up, do something more, stuff like that. I don't know exactly what it's going to do, but you can rev up your rip weapon the more you use it, like apply fire, something like that. Um, the other mod, or another mod, could be something around the lines of the less you use your rip weapon, like there will be rip weapons that work better with these than others, but for example, you don't use rip weapon first. I don't know how the word is going to be, but when you don't use rip weapon for a good bit, when you pull it out, the next attack could add a massive fiery explosion, something like that, to make your rip weapon more of a super than a pull it out, start whipping everyone's ass type of weapon. And that is what I'm going to dabble in. That general concept for everything I make. Not even for or not even for R.R.P. For everything I make, changing ideas like that. Where yes, this is a common weapon, but I made this, or this is a primary ammo weapon, for example. But I made this weapon not just my primary weapon for an ammo, but now it's my sniper as well. It's my everything. It's my bread and butter. I have this one auto rifle. Like I don't think I'm gonna do this, but it's most likely gonna have pros and cons. But like being able to change core things you would think is core and messing with it a little bit, changing that idea, but not fully getting rid of it. Kind of like how exotics work in Destiny, but for literally everything in the game. At least for R.R.P. I know I'm going to want to do some stuff similar to that, but R.R.P. is my most anime game I have thus far. And I'm going to use it as such, going to play it as such. Or going to make it as such as well. Um, uh, the I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say because this is only 18 minutes. Oh, shit. um, Surprised it was a private match and it still booted me. That's some bullshit. And a lot of games do that. Uh, and okay, I have talked about my games or my other two games a little bit. I have said I'm making two more games, that I have three games that I'm wanting to make, but the first game is going to be R.R.P. Once I have a demo at the very least of R.R.P., because I know once I at least have a demo, and for people listening, if there ever is, my demos are always going to be free. No matter what platform you're on, no matter where you're wanting to play the demo, it is free. A demo is meant to make you want to play it, and I know how bad that sounds, but it's not a bad thing. It is, you are going to want to play it. It is getting you into the game, getting you to like it. But none of my demos are going to have a timer on it, especially for PV. It, demo in my game is going to be, if it's going to be a multiplayer game, the demo is going to contain the PvE single player aspects, but a limited version of that, a limited amount of that, because you don't want everything in a demo, because it's meant to be getting you to play the game. And the only reason why I am The only reason why demos are going to be free, have a limited and all of that, is because I need money. You're going to want to get into the game, or I need money for different things. So you're going to have to pay for my games, but you're going to be able to play a lot of it by yourself without spending a dime on my game. Only if you really, really want to play it and play it fully do you have to buy my games, is how I'm going to do it. But the the demo is going to have a limited amount, different things like that. Yeah, I already said that. I don't know if I said this in my previous video, because I did have two versions of that video that I tried to make, or previous on R.R.P. In my game, in any game I make, I am going to want to dabble in more personal customization, similar to how old COD had in their emblem creator. Because I get why modern games don't have it, where it's people could do absolutely horrible, disgusting things on it, different things like that. But that's why you have bans. That's why you have different things like that. Have a code of conduct. Have a minimum or maximum you can do with it, or not minimum maximum you can do with it. More of a minimum maximum grotesque, minimum maximum racist, minimum maximum things like that. And the reason why I say minimum maximum racist is because anything you could ever really say to somebody could be considered racist nowadays. Anything and everything you say could be considered gay or not gay. Could be considered bigotry. Like, I am of the opinion that words are just words. You should be able to say just about anything, unless it is a direct insult to somebody else. If it is a direct insult, shut your fucking mouth, kind of thing. You don't need to insult people. You don't need to hurt people's feelings to get yourself a smile. Like that's wrong. You shouldn't hurt people's feelings because everyone is a person. No, no sentient thing is not a person, no matter anything. But that is why I'm going to have freedom when it comes to your name, when it comes to just about anything. I am going to have limits to it, but I don't know where the limits are going to be. Because, like, how do I say this? Names like, if you know, you know, like Mara's feet pics. There's names like that in Destiny, which is fucking crazy. But names like that bring a game. Names like that are fucked up, are weird. But one, you should kind of congratulate the guy for having that amount of ball, that amount of I don't give a fuck to name themselves that first. And secondly, it's just a name. When there is more horrible shit in the name, it's a problem. But names like that, it's weird. Why did you do it? But it's just a name. It's not horrible. Um, yeah, I talked about that for a while because that is a very touchy subject with a lot of different things because everyone wants to get upset nowadays. It sucks. But besides the point, and I do know a lot of things I'm going to do is going to set off some community somewhere because I don't really care. I'm Southern raised, Southern born, and I just want to be me like everyone else wants to do. They want to be themselves. They want to talk, want to be free, want to do their own thing. And the only time where that's a problem is when you're hurting other people, when you're going out of your way to hurt other people, because anyone and everyone can take offense to anything and everything you say, where some people, and actually a lot of people on the internet, a lot of people everywhere, you kind of should just ignore. Because they just want to bitch. They just want to complain. They just don't want to be happy. And I know that it's crazy to me that some people just don't want to be happy. At least that's what it sounds like. at least when I'm making this, I hope that people get their head out of their ass and start being good to each other again. Start not caring about a damn thing. Not caring. And I do know that people did care very heavily about gender, race, all of that. But we are so close as a society, and I'm talking about America. Not I don't. I understand that I'm going to be multi-country, but I am an American. I like other countries, but I am first and foremost an American. I am only an American. I will go to other countries. I know that for a fact. I will like it in other countries. I know that for a fact as well. But I am an American. I am a Southern American, so anything I ever say will be in the view of Southern American. Um, as an American, or as America is right now, we are so close to getting to a beautiful golden age, is the best way to put it. If we can get our asses or get our heads out of our asses collectively. So many people want to bitch, so many people want to complain, and there's so much propaganda out that no one knows what is true anymore because of all sorts of different things here and there. I hope that everyone can get along. I hope that how do I put this? That I hope that in the future everyone can sit down no matter anything, no matter gender, sex, religion, anything like that. I don't care. Just I wish there was a day where anyone of any background can play any game together. Doesn't matter. Doesn't care. Like no one is gonna bitch at each other. No one's gonna call each other any racist name, any horrible name, any just insult, and just have fun together. Because as a friend, as anyone's friend, the best thing to do is have fun with your friend because that's how you gain the most memories. That's how you gain the most. What's the word? The best memories to look back on. I don't know exactly how exact words to put there, but fond memories to look back on when you have fun with friends, when you start doing stuff like that. And then the way to start having good relationship with anyone around you is to just start talking to them politely. And that sounds funny where I am from because I'm Southern. People are just nice to each other, no matter race. I don't like saying race because it's color, it's pigment. There isn't, you're not another species, not another race, you're a human being, no matter pigmentation, no matter eye color, no matter religion, no matter anything like that. And that that is one of the things that has divided countries is race, is pigmentation, and that's not necessary. And for those that think that only blacks were enslaved, in ancient Egypt, everyone was slaves. It didn't matter. No one gave a fuck what color your skin was. You were a slave if you weren't higher up. And that's just how it went. So, yeah, everyone suffered. And no one should put that as that is my thing, that my people suffered. Everyone's people suffered. Everyone's had horrible life. Just about everywhere. If you really want to track back lineage, everyone has. Some have had it better, some have had it worse, and even the people that had it good, like the rich aristocrats way back in the day, still had it pretty fucking bad. Sure, they had anything they ever wanted, but they had anything they ever wanted. That's the bad thing. They, they didn't have to struggle. They didn't have to earn anything. They didn't have to do anything. So they were less of a person than the people that worked for them because they didn't have to work for anything. The work, the having to do something to get something is what makes life life. Which is even the wolf has to get food. Even the wolf has to go do something to get something. Always. There's always that exchange in everything you do. And that is why I am going to make, even if a game is free, There's going to be microtransactions, not a lot of them, unless it is like a lot of cosmetics over time, they will build up, but there's going to be microtransactions or DLCs, different things like that, because that is how a game developer gets money. And I get why people complain about that. A lot are not complaining. Like, I get the pain point that is microtransactions, especially when they are everywhere in a game. But like in Apex, Destiny, Fortnite, Warframe, they're all free. And how is the developer supposed to get money from something free without having something to be paid for? Like, the, when people complain about that type of stuff, it always confuses me. Always, always confuses me. But I think I said everything I want to say. Uh, how long is this video? 30? I'm okay with a 30-minute video. That's a lot better. Half of my typical video length, but still good. Um, I hope y'all enjoy the video, and I am sorry about people are going to call what I talked about previously as politics, as stuff like that. I don't know the specific word, but politics. And it's not. It's common human decency. You shouldn't care. It shouldn't be, oh, because you're a Republican, Democrat, blah, blah, blah. I'm just talking from the heart. Everything I just said, I'm just talking. And speaking of that, if you think I am a Democrat or Republican, I am neither. I don't give a fuck about either side. Both sides have actually very good points. Both sides have actually very, very good views on a lot of different things. Just one side has a lot more bad in it. Let's just say. I'm not going to say which side. You can decide which side I'm talking about, but one side has a lot more bad in it than the other. Um, I hope y'all enjoy the video, and I will talk to you guys, or I hope y'all enjoy the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.